Peace will fill the world when we finally understand that only from within can it be spread throughout the land. Every single person living peace in what we do, only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true.
Good morning, friends. I'm Leona Evans, minister at Unity of San Luis Obispo, an inclusive, progressive, spiritual community affirming the good in all life. Welcome to our Sunday morning live stream. It is delightful to be here, and I'm so glad that you chose to be with us this morning. We have an inspiring and informative service planned for you today. Wonderful, fascinating topic, great music, and an inspiring meditation. So let's begin by just relaxing. Just take a deep breath. Feel yourself becoming comfortable in your chair or on your sofa, and let us be fully present. This time together that we spend every Sunday morning is a glorious time because it reminds us of the presence and power of the living Spirit of truth inherent within us. It reminds us of our inherent goodness. It reminds us that there's hope in the face of despair. It reminds us that we have much work to do because we have been endowed with tremendous spiritual gifts, and we have not only the opportunity, but the responsibility to express them wisely and well. And for that, we need to be focused, and we need to be fully present in this moment. Take another deep breath and let us affirm together, I am now open and receptive to the living Spirit of truth. Once again, I am now open and receptive to the living Spirit of truth. And so it is. Amen. Let's begin our service, as always, with a joy song performed by Matthew J. Evans.
Good morning. Today we're going to sing We Are One in the Spirit. Please sing along with the lyrics on the bottom of the screen. We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Lord. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord, and we know that our unity will this day be restored, and we know we are family by our love, yes, we know we are family by our love. We will talk with each other, we will share how we feel. We will talk with each other, we will share how we feel. And the bonds of our friendship will be open and real. And we know we are family by our love, yes, we know we are family by our love. We will talk with each other, we will share how we feel. We will talk with each other, we will share how we feel. And the bonds of our friendship will be open and real. And we know we are family by our love, yes, we know we are family by our love. Have a great morning, everybody.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Great job. Well, 2 weeks ago, Monday, October 11th, was Indigenous Peoples Day, which falls on the same day as Columbus Day. Now, Indigenous Peoples Day recognizes the First Nations of people who occupied our country and calls attention to the losses suffered by the Native Americans through diseases, massacres, and forced assimilation. So, in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day, I want to take this opportunity to talk a bit about Native American spirituality. For me, as I've mentioned before, it's a great joy and a privilege to have this opportunity to explore the spirituality and the mystical traditions of other cultures, to connect in a way that helps us understand to a deeper and fuller degree our relationship to different cultures and our growing ability to develop compassion, understanding, and respect for those cultures, which in many ways have the same basic principles as ours in New Thought. Now, Indigenous spirituality is not a religion. It's a nature-based way of living in alignment with Mother Earth and the spiritual laws of the universe. It's both a practice and a way of life. It's not controlled by politics or religious dogma, but it's focused on recognizing and honoring all living things. And today I want to focus on a few of the powerful Native American traditions which might be familiar to some of us, but that many of us might not have explored at depth. So let's begin by taking a look at the Native Americans' understanding of the nature of God. Native Americans believe that the Creator is synonymous with divine energy. This energy inhabits every living thing and the space between everything and the possibility and potential of everything. Therefore, all creation is a manifestation of this creative energy, and our purpose in life is to express ourselves in the highest possible way. Chief Luther Standing Bear, a Lakota chief and Native American author, shares this creation story. He says, "From Great Spirit, there came a unifying life force that flowed in and through all things. The flowers of the plains, blowing winds, rocks, trees, birds, animals, and it was the same force that had been breathed into the first human. Thus, all things were kindred and brought together by the same great mystery." I really enjoy the phrase, "it is the space between every living thing," because most of us think of space as nothing. But the fact is that nothing is not the same as no thing. Nothing refers to the absence of something, but no thing refers to the potential that is in the space, the realm of all possibilities, unformed and unshaped. And so, while generally speaking, nothing implies an absence, no thing represents the substance from which things are made. I first became aware of the concept of no thing in my study of Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. And this phrase can remind us that for everything that we don't see with our physical eyes, for every space that we perceive as empty, there lies the realm of all possibilities, which responds to the power of our thought. Now, this is very similar to our New Thought understanding of the nature of God or Spirit, and it helps us realize that no matter how we attempt to analyze it, to master the nature of God, or to control it, or to figure it out, this energy is always more powerful and more benevolent and more mysterious than anything we can possibly imagine. Now, one of the most powerful tools to help us understand this mysterious and mystical concept is through the use of sacred circles, also called the medicine wheel or the hoop. Now, this image often looks like a wagon wheel laying on its side. Sacred circles come in different forms, but they all represent the alignment and the continuous interaction of the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual realities. It's also symbolic of the never-ending circle of life with no beginning and no end. Now, some of the stone medicine wheels are dated as far back as 6,000 years and have been found in Egypt and in other parts of the world. So this concept is far from isolated and can be found throughout human civilization. The center of the wheel represents our own sacred individuality, in which there are 7 sacred directions: east, south, west, north, above, below, and center. We are that point of connection where the earth and the sky come to meet. It is said that each of us is a sacred space in that center, holding that space for the harmony of the energies of the universe. Now, this illustration helps us understand that everything we do in life creates a series of responses that are far broader and wider and more encompassing than anything we can imagine. In other words, everything we do has an effect on the world around us. This next quote is by Black Elk, a Lakota educator who survived the Wounded Knee Massacre in 1890. It describes his mystical vision of oneness. He says, "I was standing on the highest mountain of them all, and round about beneath me was the whole hoop of the world. And while I stood there, I saw more than I can tell. And I understood more than I saw, for I was seeing in a sacred manner the shapes of all things in the spirit, and the shape of all shapes as they must live together like one being. And I saw that the sacred hoop of my people was one of many hoops that made one circle, wide as daylight and as starlight. And in the center grew one mighty flowering tree to shelter all the children of one mother and one father. And I saw that it was holy." In other words, everything is connected and interconnected. And when we see with our spiritual eye beyond the physical manifestations, we can feel and perceive and understand at the deepest level of our being that we are truly one in spirit. Let's take a moment now and listen to some beautiful music by Brett Mitchell and Matthew J. Evans, and we'll come back with more Native American mysticism.
This song is from one of my favorite musical scores of all time. It didn't last that long on Broadway, but it had a lot of hit songs. The roar of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd. That crowd, always smelling. Anthony Newley and Leslie Brickus. Previously, they'd done Stop the World, I Want to Get Off. They love those long titles. Are you ready, Matthew?
I'm ready.
Okay. That's my note. It isn't enough to hope. It isn't enough to dream. It isn't enough to plot and plan and scheme. It isn't enough to stand here and sing that life is grand here, waiting for something good to turn up. It isn't enough to sit here, having a purple fit here, worried to death the world will burn up. It isn't enough to hope. It isn't enough to dream. I got a better answer. I got a better scheme. Why not wish upon a wishbone, pick a four-leaf clover, rub a rabbit's foot and throw a horseshoe over. You're lucky solar, you'll find before you're very much older. A bit of luck will come your way. Now isn't that enough to make your day? It isn't enough to sit here, having a purple fit here, worried to death the world will burn up. It isn't enough to hope. It isn't enough to dream. I got a better answer. I got a better scheme. Why not wish upon a wishbone, pick a four-leaf clover, rub a rabbit's foot, and throw a horseshoe over? You're lucky solar, you'll find before you're very much older. A bit of luck will come your way. Now isn't that enough? Now isn't that enough to? Now isn't that enough to make your? Now isn't that enough to make your day? I say. Matthew, what do you say? Go ahead, just tell them the whole thing.
Well, Anthony Newley is one of my favorite performers. I love watching clips of him on YouTube. One of the most unique and talented people of his generation.
Well, I'll have to agree with that. There you go. The roar of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd, it just isn't enough.
Thank you so much, Brett Mitchell and Matthew J. Evans. It's always such a pleasure to hear you perform. I agree. I have always been a huge fan of Anthony Newley. What an incredible talent in so many ways, and the incredible ability to reach an audience with the depth and the sensitivity and all of his other wonderful gifts. So thank you for sharing that. Now let's get back to our Native American spirituality. For Native Americans, the term medicine is really, really important. It's not a pharmaceutical term, but it means the essence or the natural energy of a thing or being. Now, good medicine often refers to a combination of things that promote healing. This is true in relationships or business or any experience in life where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Conversely, bad medicine is when the energies are focused on ego, competition, greed, ignorance. If we take the opportunity to recognize our involvement in bad medicine, we are presented with a really important opportunity to examine ourselves and determine ways to transform the bad medicine into harmony or balance. There is a story that has been told by the elders, and this is a story about an individual who brought bad medicine onto himself because of his greed and ignorance, but was taught his lesson through love. The story is told of a fur trapper who explained to a council of elders that he was a world-renowned fur trapper. He had traveled a long distance to meet these elders. He had heard of all of the great resources of their land, and he wanted to establish a trade route to take the resources to markets in the East. He tried to impress the elders by telling them that each of them would become very, very wealthy. While the elders didn't really understand the desire for a human to sell the blessings of Mother Earth to make a few people wealthy, they decided to share their understanding with the fur trapper. They told him that the land and the animals were not owned by humans. They explained that their council acted as guardians of the land. They denied his request and they politely asked him to leave, but not without inviting him to trap some beaver so he could have pelts to trade for food and supplies on his journey back home. The elders told him this important lesson: take only what you need for your journey and nothing more. The trapper promised, he gave his word. He would take only what he needed and nothing more. But once he saw the number of animals that were available, his greed completely overtook him, and he continued to trap the animals without regard to his agreement to leave when he had enough for his journey. He was obsessed. He hardly slept. He just kept trapping and trapping until he had trapped most of the animals that were there. At this point, the elders knew that he had not honored his agreement because he didn't leave. And so they sent a band of warriors to escort the fur trapper out of their homeland. The trapper knew they were coming, but all he could think about was running from them and continuing to trap the animals. Well, one night he saw a wolf, and he soon realized that, in fact, it wasn't one wolf. He was surrounded by wolves. He left his camp immediately, but no matter which way he ran, there were more wolves who would force him in another direction. This continued until he was exhausted, and finally he was able to climb to the top of a cottonwood tree. Well, at this point he got all his bravado back, and he started taunting the wolves and telling them to just give up and go away, that he had won that battle. However, the wolves stayed and didn't allow the trapper to get down or to get away. All of a sudden, the wolves began to howl, and soon a beaver came, and the wolves led the beaver to the base of the tree that held the fur trapper. And the beaver got to work, gnawing at the base of the tree. Just before the tree started to fall, the warriors came and returned the trapper to the camp. Well, they took all of his fur pelts, but they gave him food and allowed him to rest. And then the council banished him from their lands. Now, did the trapper learn to turn bad medicine into good medicine? We don't know, but one of the most important things about this story is the fact that the Native Americans treated him with respect, even though they did not support or would not allow him to pillage their land. They treated him with love and respect. But this story illustrates how the bad medicine of greed and disregard for the balance and harmony of nature can destroy life unnecessarily and drain the earth of its natural resources. It relates to something called mindful consumption, taking only what we need and using everything we take. The lesson here is to be conscious of the consequences of our actions and to understand the severe consequences of overconsumption. This is a really important lesson for us now as well. What is one of the ways that we can transform bad medicine into good medicine? Well, the Native Americans believe in the therapeutic value of a medicine walk. This is a time when we might take off our shoes and walk through the grass or through the sand, when we might garden or put our hands in the earth and connect with the energy and the richness of the life force. This provides a tremendous balance and gives us every opportunity to appreciate the land and to connect with the messages of beauty and balance everywhere around us. It is said that every medicine walk brings us closer to harmony within ourselves and within nature. There is so much to honor about Native American spirituality. It is all about the unifying nature of all life and the fact that we are so much better together. Together we can appreciate our similarities and honor our differences. We can realize that even if we cannot do something, someone else is there who can and will. And our talents will never go unappreciated because there are those who need them and respect them. It is about a non-resistance and a foundation of love and respect for all life. It's about recognizing that all life forms have value. This philosophy is true for Indigenous tribes all over the world, regardless of what geographic location they're in. A number of the stories will change because of the cultural references, but the fact is that they are based in harmony, in love, and in unification of what we perceive as matter and spirit. Relax now as we begin the Native American spiritual practice for intentional prayer. We begin by calling in our council of spirit guides. Grandfather, I'm calling on you. I need your guidance now. Grandmother, I'm calling on you. I need your guidance now. Ancestors, I'm calling on you. I need your guidance now. Creator, I'm calling on you. I need your guidance now. I am facing challenges, and I don't know what to do. I bring this issue to you for your guidance. Bless this prayer with clarity protection, and favor for the highest and best good of all. And bless our Mother Earth with healing and protection, and ease the suffering of all her children. With gratitude for all the divine light and guidance, with gratitude to those who have gone before us, and with gratitude to life itself. Let it be so. Amen. Friends, for further study, I would like to recommend Think Indigenous, Native American Spirituality for a Modern World by Doug Goodfeather. Friends, I have an important announcement to share, and I'm really excited about this. 2 weeks from today, Sunday, November 7th at 11:30 at Meadow Park, we have our next in-person meeting. And our special guest for that meeting is the Director of Homeless Services at CAPSLO, which is the Community Action Partnership of San Luis Obispo County. His name is Jack Leahy, and he is the brand new director. He's been on the job just about 3 months, and he is now ready to share his vision with us and to ask for our time and our talents. And I'm very excited because those Sunday morning meetings are about social spiritual action. And so we have this wonderful opportunity to meet with Jack. He will answer our questions, he'll share his vision, and he will make a place for us as we work to end homelessness in San Luis Obispo County. So I'm excited. I extend this invitation to you. Please go to Eventbrite and look for our event and sign up. We have a limit of 30 people, and I've put this word out to everyone I know on Facebook. So we want to be there to support Jack. He wants to support us because we want a project. We want to help. We want to be part of the change. So 2 weeks from today, 11:30. Let's take a moment now to share our gifts and tithes with Unity of San Luis Obispo, and to recognize that as we give, so shall we receive, a very simple but powerful law of attraction. That law says that as we give, so shall we receive. And furthermore, it says that what we give in love comes back to us 30, 60, 100-fold. Well, the fact is that anything we give comes back to us 30, 60, 100-fold. But the idea of tithing helps us see that when we give to where we receive our spiritual inspiration, we do receive more spiritual inspiration. And so if you have received any inspiration or joy or information that you can use in your spiritual journey, please share your tithe with us. We appreciate it. We thank you, and we bless you. Let's speak the words of our prosperity affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive.
Here's an old standard that's become a jazz standard over the years. Lyric by Mac Gordon, though I'm not going to sing it today. And music by Harry Warren. There will never be another you, is the name of it. Are you ready, Matthew?
Yes, I am.
So my 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. There will never be another you. I mean, that's just the way it
That's
is.
for sure, man.
I asked my partner in crime, what he thinks about that.
Well, if that title has been true about anybody, it's you, Brett. I love playing with you.
Well, one has to agree, don't you think?
Thank you so much, Brett Mitchell and Matthew J. Evans. Wonderful job. And it is true. There will never be another you. That is true for you, Brett, Matthew, and all of us. We are unique by divine design. And so let's sing our peace song, shall we?
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyful vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And let's speak the words of our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Friends, please press the like button and share comments about our service. We love to hear from you. And please check our website, unityslow.com. There's a lot of information, all of our archived talks, an interview where Maya Angelou tells Oprah Winfrey that unity changed her life. It really changed her life. So we've got a very rich and wonderful website. Please be kind to one another and have a wonderful week. You deserve it.
Every single person living peace in what we do, only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true.